This is a rest area on Highway 401 westbound, about 40 miles east of the Ambassador Bridge. The southern part of Michigan has been opened to oversized and overweight loads. But the north part is still closed, so I'm crossing in Detroit. I got Michigan, Indiana, Illinois. They are working on the rest, and this is actually the quickest way to go. So since I'm about to enter Michigan, USA, I need to do two things. One, I have to change the sign in the back from D to the American oversized load sign. And I just bought this one today, and also because it's Michigan, I need to drop the axle. ready, I would just I didn't show you guys, but I had to check the customs, and I love this website that I'm using. It shows me the status of my e-manifest, and I did the entry about 2 hours ago, and I sent everything to the broker. So I did my part, right? And then now the freight broker has to do their side. By the way, that's my average mileage with this thing. It's been very windy today, super windy, and the wind is coming. I'm traveling southwest or west, and the wind is coming from the west, like super strong. And even though I have like a very low profile load, I was doing this, let's say 51 liters per 100 kilometers, and I found this cool cool app. So just put your liters in here, and right away it tells you miles per gallon. So for now I'm not doing very well, 4.61 miles per gallon. That's what you get for driving, for having a 605 horsepower Cummins. So if I had a Mac, I would probably be doing like 5 miles a gallon right now, because this thing is well, the truck would be 3,000 pounds lighter, but then, you know, let's not go in there, because then you have all these problems with a weak axle, right? And no double frame, and I hate double frame because it makes the truck so heavy, you know. But people say that if you getting a 20,000 pound front axle, if you're getting a 20,000 pound front axle, then you're supposed to have that double frame. And last time I was at the Kenworth, I talked to him about the next truck, and yeah, the guy says, I expect truckers to know what they want. Like, so basically no advice, you know. Dealers, they offer very little in terms of advice when you spec your truck. Well, they can offer you advice in terms of money, because, you know, let's say the guy will say, well, you want this option, so it's gonna cost you $1,000, but if you get this package, which already includes this option, this will only cost you $500. That's where they can help you, but they cannot help you if you're specing or trying to spec the truck for you know, if you're trying to spec the truck for multiple jurisdictions. And so you saw what I did. I put the boards under the wheels and I drive forward a little bit, and so the wheels that were in the air went on the boards, and then I dropped the suspension and released the chains on that lifted axle, drove off the boards, opened the locks on that axle, because there's locks and the airbags in there. So, and then I reinflated everything, and so now the air went in all airbags, and we're good to go, because that's required for Michigan, right? And I changed the sign. I don't want to lose it. Brand new sign, 35 bucks Canadian, plus tax 39. And in the back it was a bit, you know, sketchy, so I put it on the load. And then I checked my customs paperwork. It was not ready, so I called the broker, and they said they were very busy today and they didn't get a chance to work on my entry. And I said, well, can you at least find it? And it took them like 5-10 minutes, but they found it, and they said, okay, we're gonna put somebody on it. because I said I'm 40 miles away from the border, would be cool. And then now when I went to get coffee, I did all this you know, stuff. I checked my route on the permit, and then I got an email from my website that said broker's entry on file. And I logged on to the website, checked, yeah, I got green bars, meaning that I'm good to go. And then on the permit it says call the bridge at least 24 hours in advance. And of course nobody does that. You just call them, you know, a couple of hours before you get there. So I called the Ambassador Bridge, and it's a generic number, and it says for oversized load information press 2. So I pressed 2, and they hooked me up with some dude, and he says, I said 10 feet wide, and you can feel, you look at this, see how they're moving? Very windy, and you can see those wind generators spinning like crazy. So these guys are laughing, going in the opposite direction, but today I'm having bad luck. And so the guy says 10 feet wide, what's the weight? I said 118,000 pounds, my gross weight. So this thing is actually a bit less than 60,000. And the guy says, let me check, I think you should be okay, which is actually not what I was trying to ask him. Like, I was asking him if I need to stop at the duty-free and wait for the escort. And he comes back on the line, he says, well, yeah, you're good up to 140,000. And I already knew that. So basically, if you're too heavy, they don't allow you to cross that bridge that's been falling apart for ages. They wanted to take the barge, you know, like a ferry pulled by a boat. And he says, yeah, you're good on the weight, just stop at the duty-free and call the same number, and we'll send the escort car to get you. And I said, wait, I thought I don't need an escort if I'm 10 feet wide. And he said, no, you still need one. I said, after what dimensions do you need an escort? He says 9 feet. If you're less than 9 feet, then you're okay. But if as soon as you're over like 9 foot 1 inch, you need an escort over the bridge. The cost is $60 US. And you don't have to pay them, basically, but it's just a waste of time, because when you stop at the duty-free, they send a lady with you know, with paperwork, and you fill out your address, all that stuff, and they send you a bill, and then you have to send them a check. Or I think you can pay with I think I paid with a Visa before. So anyway, so far so good. You see, Michigan was approved. Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, that's what I have now. Michigan lifted restrictions in the southern part of the state, because I really didn't want to go and play games with Minnesota over there, because they have some wicked rules that nobody seems to understand. Like, the permit office says one thing, my permit company says no, that's not correct. So I decided to go like this. This is and somebody mentioned New York. No, that would be if I were to cross via Buffalo. First of all, you cannot cross in Buffalo. The bridge is still off limits to oversized, overweight loads. You need to cross in Niagara Falls. There's lots of tolls in there, and then you have to go through, you know, toll 90. If they would probably have let me drive on toll, because they look at how wide you are. But then it's PA, Ohio is all toll over there, right? Just too many tolls, and also it's too many extra miles. And I got a ticket, right? When, like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago in Ohio. Somehow I don't like I don't want to go back there, you know. yeah, so this one goes to Wyoming. It's another job site for this company. They have like a Canadian company and US company, and they own this crane, and so this part is the base, the foundation of the crane where the tracks connect. Basically, without this you cannot connect tracks and you cannot connect the cab. So basically I'm the most important guy. And nothing so far to go back, because this can be of course a very bad area. You know that Wyoming, there's never ever loads out of there, so I'm prepared to go empty about 1,000 miles to, I don't know, Kansas, Texas. But I do have an offer for a good price, a good rate. The guy has a 90,000 pound excavator in Pennsylvania, which is like 1,500 miles from Wyoming. But if somebody new on the channel, I cannot, as a Canadian, I cannot move loads inside US. I can move them here in Canada because I'm a citizen of Canada, but inside US, I deliver, then I have to find another load that goes across the border to Canada. And because I have a pusher axle and fourth axle on the trailer without a stinger, Western Canada does not like me, and even Quebec, our eastern neighbor from Ontario, Quebec does not like me because they want 16.4 feet between the steer axle and the pusher, and they want 4 tires on the pusher axle instead of 2 that I have. So I can still go in there, but I cannot do a heavy load, you know. But this guy, this excavator, goes to Ontario. But I'm trying to get more money out of them because the deadhead is so long. But so far the guy did not answer. But we'll see what happens. But basically, this is a much easier route for this load. Like if I was going through Thunder Bay, I would have to go 600 miles from that shipper to Thunder Bay on 2-lane roads, and then Minnesota more 2-lane roads if I would have been lucky to get the permit, which my permit service company says no, they wouldn't give you the permit. And so this way it's all freeways, right? Like there'll be a very short detour in Detroit. Basically, they want me to go after I cross the bridge and I go into that customs compound, right? You get out and you go on that little connector, and I go on 75 south. So they don't want me to go on 96. They are sending me on 75 south, and then of course I have to jump on 94. And there's a highway called 39. Michigan 39, exit 41, and so that's what I'm taking. I-75 south from customs, and then I go 6 miles to M39, exit 41, and I go north like half a mile, and I jump on I-94. And there's one more little detour, but all the way near Indiana. What is it, Battle Creek? Oh, Benton Harbor, I always mix them up, but right near the lake. They want me to go on the business 94 at like nothing, you know. So that's it. So the plan for the day is just to reach maybe Ann Arbor, like a pilot OTA, and then start trucking tomorrow, and I can drive until like 7:30, 7:40. So it all depends. Like that's what I programmed. I programmed the truck stop, and it says basically 75 miles from here. I'm about half an hour from the border, so I hope they don't keep me there too long. So we'll continue in a couple of days when I'm past Chicago. Maybe show you guys some nice looking cornfields in Iowa. Stay tuned. Captain out.